one of the worst experiences I had at Arlington County Public Schools was my counseling session with a career counselor, where everyone else was talking to college preparation. She informed me that it was very nice and very clean, and that I would make a great maid. And then she offered me a job for the summer. And I had to make my brain say, don't get into trouble. You know what your mother would expect you to say. And so I had to inform her that I knew I had other plans for myself, and I knew my parents had other plans for me. Why is it that we can't visit places like Virginia State or Howard or Morgan State or something like that? And she didn't know what I was talking about. And I can remember thinking, why would you not want to learn what historical Black colleges and universities are in this country? Why would you not have prepared yourself for those of us that were being forced? I was the last class at Langston in 6th grade that had the choice. That was the last year we could choose to go to HB. My mom and daddy said, you're going to Swanson. So I didn't have a choice. But that's okay. Y'all know how obedient I am. And so I'm there, and I never did tell my mother how that session went with the counselor. And I told her, I said, well, I don't think she can really help me because she doesn't understand what I need. And she said, well, do I need to talk to her? I said, oh, no. She's going to turn me to her summer maid. We done made the papers. And so you know, that still bothers me, obviously, to just try to deal with not understanding what we would need and how rich that was at HB for us. And my brothers and my sisters and the generations before, and my mom's siblings and all of that. That was something that integration took away from me and did not develop a plan to bridge or replace, to recover. And we were the children. And then the classes that came after us, before you even got there in the 70s, they too had to have the briefings on how we behave in this integrated situation, but they had to learn how to eat fried chicken with a knife and a fork. And when they told me that, I said, oh yeah, I really need to go early, because that's not how you eat fried chicken. But be that as it may, etiquette and proper manners, you know, you had to go through all that. But the piece that really gagged me with the proverbial spoon, and I'm going to try to make this sound nicer than it is in my head. But you know that Washington Golf and Country Club up there on North Beach Road? That same one. Swanson holds its 8th grade prom. Because that's all we got. We're getting our dresses and things together to go to this prom, and all of a sudden we were told that we couldn't hold the prom that year. And none of us kids could understand that. We did the homework, we passed the test, we behaved, we were winning championships and all that good stuff. We can't go to prom, what's up with that? Fortunately, one of my white girlfriends, whose mother worked for the Arlington County School Board, gave the backstory. And the backstory is that they would not allow us to come in because we were Negroes. And so they wouldn't allow us to hold the prom up there that year. And Swanson had just put in a whole brand new gym floor. And they would say, well, we can hold it in the gym. Well, it would be different than what all the other 8th grade classes had had at Swanson for I don't know how long, but that was okay. But then we were told we couldn't wear our shoes. You got a pretty dress, you can't wear your shoes. Anyway, you can't wear your shoes. And I said, well, then what are we supposed to do? Everybody had to go out and buy these nice socks. Fancy socks. You should have seen us dressing up these socks trying to make them look like shoes. We were going to prom. And when they decorated it, I can remember the balloons and the streamers and the colors, and we had a lot of rah-rah-rah school spirit. We really had a pretty good time. And then I remember how careful we were not to tell everybody why we really couldn't hold prom, where it had been held as a tradition for so many years. worn socks at the Washington Golf and Country Club, and they were worried about their floor. But that's life in Arlington.